When faced with life or death situations, just how powerful can a person's survival instincts be? To escape pursuit, the girl stepped onto it. Suddenly, machine gun fire erupted behind her, and in the chaos, she tumbled over the cliff. The river was raging and turbulent. She tried to grab onto the rocks nearby, but her hands were tied, making even this simple movement impossible. The current was getting faster and faster, and ahead of her was a massive waterfall. If she couldn't stop herself, this would be her grave. At the critical moment, she grabbed onto some abandoned aircraft wreckage. She was now only 20 feet from the waterfall. The tremendous force immediately swept her away. Just as she was about to plunge into the abyss, she managed to grab hold of the plane's wing as the water carried her along. Below was a sheer cliff. If she fell, there would be virtually no chance of survival. Looking down at the endless chasm beneath her feet, her will to live exploded. She took a deep breath, then lifted her legs and kicked upward with everything she had. She collapsed exhausted onto the wing. Before she could catch her breath, the wing started creaking ominously. Suddenly it began to crack. She held her breath and slowly got to her feet. She knew that any more hesitation would mean death. Just as she stepped over the breaking wing, the damaged piece completely snapped off and disappeared into the waterfall. Luckily, she managed to grab the fuselage and save her life. She quickly climbed inside the plane. The intense, high-difficulty movements had left her completely drained. After catching her breath briefly, she spotted a protruding piece of metal nearby. She immediately placed the rope binding her hands against it and started rubbing frantically. Right then, without half its wing for support, the plane began tilting gradually under the river's impact. She could only speed up her rubbing. At the last second, she rolled and scrambled to grab onto the deck, but the danger wasn't over. The broken plane was now wedged between the cliff walls, and her situation was extremely precarious. The slightest movement of her body could cause the aircraft wreckage to break apart further, but her powerful survival instinct helped her find one last ray of hope. Above her head was a parachute. She gritted her teeth, supporting her body with one hand while reaching for the parachute with the other. Just a little bit more. The moment she grabbed the parachute, the plane completely disintegrated. Clutching the parachute, she fell into the cliff and pulled the ripcord. Though the parachute was somewhat damaged, it still managed to slow her descent. But as she was falling, tree branches still pierced her abdomen, though she managed to keep her life. This was just 3 days ago.